we go in our C, and they are off. J-Man looking like the white wizard from Final Fantasy. Poidrac, I forget who that is.
Yeah, I still haven't learned half of the new sprites that have been introduced as easy features in the latest version of the randomizer. So much sprites, thanks to McGrew and Zarnax. But it looks like they are starting out with the silver harp as well as a torch. So not a whole lot of help from the throne room right off the bat.
Yep, the silver harp, when you use it, summons monsters, and who knows what that'll bring.
Right, my understanding is basically it's like a random zone where there's just 5 possible monsters that the harp can summon on any given seed. But look at this, there is a town right at the start. It's the town of Brackenry, right next to the castle. Oh my gosh, is this even vanilla?
I don't think it was that close in vanilla. J-Man gonna give us the shop. It contains, the bamboo pole, the clothes. I think I saw some chainmail and then half plate and full plate. If I read those
That's actually a really great shop, yeah. I mean, bamboo pole and clothes and this type of a starting seed could be really important, honestly.
And another town for J-Man could get there if he wants to. But instead, we're just going to fight some red slimes. One of the enemies our runners can defeat. Poidrac about to take down the second one here.
I like how you say can defeat with so much confidence. Who knows if they're going to be 75% Dragon Lord 2 Breath, but it does appear that they're just attacking in this one.
Magician, not so much.
But yeah, with both of our runners already finding at least one red slime, it seems like already 2 for J-Man. It does seem like they are reasonably common here in the starting zones. And so that gives me confidence that we will see the runners advancing to level 2. In fact, it looks like J-Man is already there.
With 8, 8, 2, and 0.
Empty Eye loves it. That said, that 8 strength, he's totally out of jail right now. With 13 strength, that brings some more monsters into the mix. Level 3 should not be that hard to get.
Yeah, taking out these red slimes with ease now as Poidracs are going to follow J-Man to the next level. And J-Man's going to just keep up the grind, keep up killing these red slimes until he gets 18 experience, and that will be level 3.
It seems like the red slimes here are like 40 or possibly even 60% in this zone. We've seen almost exclusively red slimes in the forest that J-Man's been in. I think one magician over there as well.
Yeah, J-Man utilizing the forest tiles, which have a higher encounter rate compared to the plains, so able to just get into these fights faster, as Poidrac went in and bought the bamboo pole to gain 2 attack power. And here comes level 3 for J-Man, utilizing that force well, and we'll get 2 power, 1 agility, 5 health, 5 magic, spells of return and heal more. Heal more, very important, because, well, it heals more.
And yeah,
you need more.
It will let them get over to that town for sure to see what the other town is, so I expect J-Man's going to go over there shortly.
Unless you want to triple hurt more things, you need more healing to beat the game. So we're going to have the bamboo pole and the clothes picked up, it looks like. And he even has end money.
And despite Poidrac's slower encounter rate on the plains tiles rather than the forest tiles, it looks like he is also very close to getting up to the next level here.
Yeah, that's a little optimistic, trying to fight the wizard. I mean, it is beatable at full health, but Poidrac only entering the fight at 4 HP, not going to get it done. And Bobsky called it. Second town is Hawksness.
Of course.
J-Man electing not to fight the Magician. Could have popped the heal more and taken it down for a nice 8 experience gain.
At this point, all we've seen are red slimes and magicians in that zone. It seems like, based on the frequency that J-Man's seen things, it almost seems like it's 80% red slimes and 20% magicians. I don't know that I've ever seen a zone that was 4 out of 5 with just one monster. The starting zones can have up to 6 different monsters in it. The slime, blue slime, Drakey, magician, Magidrakey, and scorpion. But it appears that possibly we've only got 2 here in the starting zone right around the castle in this particular seed.
And J-Man actually managing to defeat the magician, defense breaking it, taking no damage from the attack and killing it, starting with like 4 health or something. So that's a nice chunk of experience he just got.
Yeah, that's the advantage of having the Heal More spell, means that you can really win some kind of battles of attrition or wars of endurance against some enemies that might be a little bit out of your range typically. And yeah, with that, another couple of enemies, and J-Man's going to see what's coming up at level 4. Meanwhile, Poidrac has decided at level 3 to go ahead and do a little bit exploring further afield.
That's unfortunate. Found the Magidrakey, but it's breathing the normal dragon breath. And with up to like 24 damage, that killed Poidrac with ease. Meanwhile, J-Man going up to level 4. With 7, 12 agility, 4 health, and no magic.
But yeah, some agility and the clothes. He should be able to probably fight some of the monsters in Zone 1 and 2 if he wants to go that way, and it looks like he is branching out now south of the castle. There's a Drakima. If it doesn't have any special attacks, he should be able to take this down.
It has some special attacks. And Poidrac's going to take a very early look at the spike tall and sees a golem.
It's nice just to have the information early on in the game. Poidrac just wanted to see what was there. He's gone ahead and taken an intentional swamp death there at Oxness in order to reset things, and he'll try a different way to look around. Meanwhile, J-Man is also looking around, this time to the west, but it appears to be an empty peninsula.
Yeah, looking like the only path you can go from start is north. Although there is a nice little plains path you can take through all that swamp to avoid damage.
Yeah, just like rivers are a new feature of the map in the latest version of the randomizers that has made the map more interesting. It's almost like there's a river of plains going through that swamp, which is very convenient for the runners.
And here we go, a cave. Poidrac can get in there. And a whole bunch of bridges. Does that technically count as a validated seed? I mean, I know you've got the actual spark over right there, but... Anyways, we've got a cave. Poidrac... Looking like either mountain or tablet, and looking like mountain if Poidrac's heading up. Or no, that's looking a bunch south. That is Tablet Cave. So a free chest for Poidrac.
That's assuming he can navigate it and not get lost in the dark. One of the troubles with Tablet Cave is since there are no encounters, if you do get lost in there, there's no way out. But he has found his way down to the stairs.
J-Man going after Poltergeist. Poltergeist going after J-Man with Hurt More.
And Poidrac has been pointed out in the chat that he does have a torch, because they started with a torch in the starting room. So even though the harp isn't going to help him sound his way out, if he wants to light things up, he does have that ability. Oh no, okay, it's a
Gold.
He just got a gold chest. All right. So in Breckenry, unfortunately, 600 gold. The other items were kind of pretty big items in the shop, as I recall.
That'll get you, I believe, up to chainmail, and that's about it. And J-Man manages to beat a Magidrakey without ever seeing the fire breath attack.
Yeah, I like the play. Just got to take some risks to try to take out some of these enemies here in zones 1 and 2, just to try to get the experience you need to advance while you're trying to look around a little bit more on the map.
Or no, he did get breathed and used heal more to get out of the fight. Poidrac trying to bonk out of Tablet Cave as the werewolf casts hurt more, so quite a few abilities we're seeing on enemies so far.
I wonder if Poidrac forgot that he has the torch in his inventory, because it's not such a precious resource that you shouldn't want to spend it right now, and he's spending a lot of time in Tablet Cave. He could always buy more torches in Breckenry if he needs to.
Well, Poidrac's out. And just needs to head back to Breckenry and we'll have the chainmail. That'll provide 10 defense, not bad. Meanwhile, J-Man going to do a little bit of shopping himself. Looking like torches, herbs.
I don't think I saw him buy a dragon scale there, although I'm not sure that he has the money right now. But meanwhile, Poidrac is picking up the chainmail, so that'll be a bit of extra defense.
Meanwhile, J-Man's about to see the Tablet Cave.
And Poidrac heading over to do some other shopping in Breckenry for various sundries. And I have to expect, since J-Man just bought a torch, that he will use the torch going through Tablet Cave.
Yep, looking like J-Man and Poidrac just kind of changing places. J-Man got done with a little bit of shopping, and now Poidrac's in the shop while J-Man gets some money.
So it looks like we will have a pretty even race so far, and J-Man still has enough magic points when he exits Tablet Cave to cast Return. I wonder if he'll just do that immediately so we can go and spend the money without having to do the walk back.
That actually makes me wonder where Return's going to put our runners.
Since Breckenry is directly south of the castle, yeah, I think the next option in the seed is to put it north, or it might actually put you on the castle. It might simply return you on top of the town of Breckenry, I'm not sure.
Well, he doesn't have the MP now, and if he dies here, he doesn't have chainmail money anymore. He got a very low roll out of that gold box, and that Magidrake is going to send him back with not enough money for chainmail.
Yes, that's why I was wondering about it. He knew that these enemies with the fire breath were out here. They could definitely take him down. At the same time, he does also want to get experience, and so, yeah, taking a shot at those Magidrakes is kind of a reasonable thing to do. If he needs the money, he can always go back and get it again, but if he just kills a few more enemies outside, he'll be back up to 300 almost just as fast, and so it's probably not a big deal in terms of setbacks.
As you can see there, our tracker Fury SK bringing up the Magidrake stats, and evidently they're packing heal more as well with that fire breath, so... In the meantime, Poidrac evening up the level difference, although still behind by a little bit in raw experience. By about 30 points.
And I was super curious, and so I took a detailed look at this seed, and sure enough, the Zone 0 is 4 red slimes and a magician. I don't know that I've ever seen 4 of the same enemy in a single zone. That's crazy.
That's probably the best setup you could ask for with a 5 strength start.
Provided the red slimes don't have any special attack, yes, I agree.
Speaking of special stuff, skeletons with sleep.
Man, these Zone 1 and 2 enemies have not been kind to the runners, on the other hand. The slimes were great. The skeletons, Magidrake, Drakima, not so much.
And now you can put on the board, Poidrac is well and truly validated. No question about that, Bridge.
So yeah, in the community, a bridge going to a single tile of land. This is Sparkover Bridge. People often search on the other side just to see if one of the search items is going to be found there. One of these days it'll happen in a broadcast race, and it will be amazing.
Yep, and Poidrac along the east coast of the map, trying to get through this zone, gonna find the Droll. Droll actually kind of looks polite, so good chance to get some nice experience here. And nothing doing up there. Now we get to see if there's anything going south, although the Scorpion's looking awfully juicy.
Yeah, some good enemies for Poidrac, and it'll be basically a chance for him to catch up somewhat on the experience. Meanwhile, J-Man looks like he might be doing 4 or 5 rounds of Tablet Cave in order to try to get the 3,000 for the full plate armor, if I'm reading things correctly.
Nope, just going up to 1,000 for half plate, as our question has been answered. Casting Return just plops you right on top of Breckenary. So that will be the half plate for J-Man, giving him 16 defense as a bonus.
And that, it's in general kind of a good play. Unfortunately, the enemies that we've seen in Zones 1 and 2 with the weak fire breath, the half plate armor is really not going to reduce that. But if he can find some other enemies, they're just going to do some attacking. He might be defense breaking a number of other kind of easy enemies, like that Droll or Scorpion that Poidrac recently found.
Yeah, those two, and then even the skeleton, it puts you asleep and then it just attacks you, so if you can get that defense broken, then really it's just tickling you while you're asleep. As Poidrac's actually going to be the first to level 5, getting those monsters 16 power, that will do. And we have a spell, we have the spell of sleep.
Okay, extra attack power and the sleep spell. That's going to bring a whole lot more monsters into range to be killable. So that is going to be pretty big. Meanwhile, J-Man just bought a dragon scale and equipped it. And so that combined with the half-plate armor, has brought him up to 34 defense points already.
Meanwhile, Poidrac, trying to make a run for it, is going to just run over this Magidrake, and we have a little bit of a high five in the swamp as we find a new zone with golems, some other stuff that's called Droll Magi's. Sorry about that. And looking like Poidrac's gotten through while J-Man got ambushed by a poltergeist and blown up. Well... Ooh, Red Dragons with Stop Spell. Red Dragons with Stop Spell. Red Dragons with Stop Spell.
Well, it seems like the Fun Police will be kind in this seed, at least after the players get Urbric's armor.
Normal breath attack as well.
So, it's not something you want to see, and from Poidrac's point of view, it looks like that might be one of the few directions they can go. It's fortunate that they have the Heal More spell already, because there was a bit of swamp that they have to walk through, going over in that direction to the northwest. But then it seems like they have a zone of Sharlock tier enemies with the Red Dragon. There's an Axe Knight over on J-Man's screen. And so they might have to do a bit more grinding around the castle before they're going to have enough agility to successfully get through that zone.
Oh man, Fury bringing up the Red Dragon, 75% Stop Spell, 50% Fire Breath. once our runners get Erdrick's armor, that's about as free as one could ask for.
And even if the players learn Stop Spell and Stop Spell the Red Dragon first, that also could be a way to at least give yourself many, many run chances against this guy in the meantime. So it looks like J-Man is checking out this area over to the edge of the map in the east, and so he's going to discover there's nothing out there, and I think that is indeed going to kind of funnel the runners back over toward the west, which seems to be the only way to go after J-Man discovers this is going to be a dead end.
Yeah, J-Man about to get that nice power increase and learn Sleep. Poidrac electing not to attempt the Metal Scorpion certainly could defeat one with Sleep and 40 attack power.
Yeah, I agree that was kind of a questionable decision. And then the Drakima, unfortunately, is a little bit dodgy. Couple that with its Fire Breath, and is Poidrac going to be able to pull it out? Yes, he does manage to defeat the Drakima for another 20. Honestly, even with some tough enemies here in kind of zones 1 and 2, the players should be able to advance at least up to level 6 pretty quickly now that they have more attack power.
Ooh, J-Man just got some interesting information. Golems have hurt more. Which, if our runners pick up Stop Spell soon, could mean that if they spam spells, the Hawksness tile could come into play a lot sooner than expected. Did that red slime run from Poidrac?
I would expect so now that they have enough equipment. And, oh, there's a Warlock on J-Man's side, which also has hurt more. Yeah, once again, so many of these Zone 1, Zone 2 enemies have skills, which are making it very difficult for the runners right now. And so I'm not sure. I think, based on what I've seen from either side, I would still grind out at least level 6. There are some juicy enemies that you can defeat, but I would also be tempted to kind of press and hope that you can find a key somewhere or something just by exploring more of the map.
Okay, Poidrac did get level 6. Can't really tell the exact numbers because of the differing build, but it looked like only 1 strength, some decent health, a little bit of agility, and a lot of MP, so that should help open up the exploration with more not stop spells, because the Golem also casts stop spell. Heal mores. More heal mores to get out in the world.
Yeah, it gives some possibilities. I'm thinking from Poidrac's point of view, the agility is almost getting to that threshold to where he can run from most monsters. Still not obviously the Red Dragon, but he's almost becoming a favorite to run from the Axe Knight. Is getting pretty close, I think. And so if he wanted to go exploring to the west and manages not to run into the Red Dragon, he might be able to explore further out that way.
In the meantime, J-Man making another run out, managing to inflict a little bit of slept and wrecked of his own on a Warlock. And finds a cave. It's the jerk. He tried to talk to that guy right now, he would just be kicked out of that cave, but once he manages to collect the objectives of this Dragon Warrior Randomizer, the Staff of Rain, the Erdrick's Token, and the Stones of Sunlight, he'll be able to take him to that guy and get the Rainbow Drop, and that will make the bridge needed to enter Charlotte Castle as he gets 1, 4, 17, 23 from level 6.
And I don't know if you've been noticing, J-Man has been using his herbs to heal out of battle, which I think is smart. He's holding on to his heal mores to use in battle in case of emergency. And that might allow him to travel a little bit farther.
Emergency, although given enough times, he does get away and finds bonus cave and town. We will have some bonuses here. And bonus token!
Alright, Erdrick's token found in Free Stuff Cave. The Vanilla Stones of Sunlight Cave. It's just a free cave in the randomizer. And yeah, so that's one of the 3 plot items that you were just talking about that the runners need to find in order to complete things. I am really surprised that J-Man is taking this fight here against this Drakima when he's 1 step away from a town. That was a bold move. But yeah, Remolder, he'll be able to buy keys. He'll get another chest out of this town, and then 4 more chests and another cave location back inside Tanagel Castle. So this is a really big deal on J-Man's side. This could potentially open things up tremendously, depending upon what's in Tanagel.
Yeah, it's going to be big. He bought 3 keys. I guess he's just going to go ahead and check the end chest here. 1 chest in Rimbledar. Behind 2 doors, we will have an herb.
So yeah, the herb is kind of disappointing, but with 1 key left, he does have enough magic points that he could just cast Return, which I think is what I would do, and then I would talk to the king, probably, save the key, check what's inside the Tanagel treasury. But first, he's going to pop into the inn in Breckenry in order to get his hit points and magic points back, which is a reasonable strat. And if J-Man doesn't find stuff to his liking inside Tanagel... Oh, he's going to go do Tablet Cave first. I disagree with this strategy. I would go save with the king and check out what's inside Tanagel right now, because maybe there's another key available in the Tanagel treasury. He's taking a risk by not saving right now. I guess he has the key in his inventory either way. But he's going to go to Tablet Cave, get that gold again, and then just go buy more keys. And that'll totally work, but it might end up taking more time.
Yeah, I guess he views the trade-off as worth it, as Poidrac gets slept by a green dragon, and that thing is a lot more damaging than a skeleton will ever be.
So yeah, at this point, the players already have the Silver Harp, which they started with from the throne room, the Erdrick's Token, which was found in Free Stuff Cave, so the only other key plot item is the Stones of Sunlight. They'll still need to find Staff of Rain Cave in order to trade in the harp. They've already seen the location of the Jerk to get Erdrick's, or to get the Rainbow Drop, and so then just finding Charlock Castle is one of the other key locations, and then wherever the armor turns out to be, although it might be in Hawksnest, which we know is just to the west of the castle. And so they just have to be strong enough to defeat the golem in order to go after what might be hidden on that search spot. But J-Man is going to go buy more keys, and we'll finally get some information about what's inside Tanagel.
Yeah, so one of the things about finding Erdrick's Token in a chest is that means one of these search spots will be empty. That golem over in Hawksness could be guarding nothing. Okay, so J-Man's actually going to check underneath Tanagel first. And how convenient, he has found the Staff of Rain. Yeah, you better go trade that in, buddy. So, with the harp, you can talk to that guy, get him out of the way, and pick up his Staff of Rain.
So in terms of plot item progression, the seed is moving very swiftly. In terms of stat and equipment progression, we still have a long ways to go and some tough enemies outside to deal with.
Yeah, I don't know if J-Man actually checked Remoldar's gear shop, but we're going to have the armory here. It contains gold, so gold grinds on the table. Fighter's Ring, that's 2 attack power. It helps. More gold. Did I mention gold?
And that's interesting. With 3 gold chests here in the treasury, it's perfectly reasonable to choose to do a ghetto grind. If J-Man wants to go buy some more armor and Breckenry, he could simply exit Tangel, come right back in, spend another key, pick up the 3 gold chests, eventually go buy some more keys and grind as much money as he wants. It won't take very long for him to get enough to even get, I can't remember, other than the full plate, was there one other item in Breckenry that might be worth getting? I guess the full plate was the most expensive thing that was available in Breckenry, so just get the 3,000 gold, go upgrade the armor there, and then, yeah, it's kind of a shame that he didn't see what was in the Remolder shop. Meanwhile, on Poidrac's side, he's gotten up to level 7 with 352 experience now. He's now almost 150 experience ahead of J-Man. But J-Man's equipment's advantage, especially with the keys, is going to potentially give him a bigger lead in the long run. I guess it depends. Well, Poidrac has made it out into this area of the world as well. If he makes it over to Remolder, we could have a very tight race once again. Poidrac spies the Jerk Cave, probably makes a note on his map for where to return to later on. Meanwhile, it looks like J-Man is going to try to head back over to Remolder, but with only 38 agility, he's going to have a hard time getting through some of the Sharlock enemies in this zone. And now's a good time for me to say thanks once again to Bobski, who is our restreamer, and Fury, who is our tracker, for getting up early this morning to help broadcast this match. And I think Smashy might be muted right now, FYI, Smashy.
Oops. But yeah, Keytown for Poidrac. Needs to just go into bonus cave after this to pick up the token. And well, if he doesn't, it's pretty much on the path, so I imagine at some point he'll remember, hey, I gotta go in here.
Yeah, it's kind of not a big deal at this point. It seems like they're kind of funneled through this area, and it's going to be a while before they need to turn in the token again, and it's right next to the Jerk anyway. So if he happened to encounter it later, it wouldn't have mattered, but sure enough, he does go right over there next. He picks up Erdrick's token, and I guess he didn't go and check the Remolder chest just yet, but that might be a smart move as well, having the keys. He might want to save them for Tangel just so he can immediately check out the gold and buy more keys over there.
Yeah, looking like Poidrac's actually going to explore beyond Rimeldar for a little bit and finds another town.
If happens to be something like Cole with the armor, that could be really huge.
Gotta go away from this golem, not using sleep and dies.
Yeah, Stone Man is very susceptible to sleep. Stone Man and Magiwyvern are a few of the hard enemies you might encounter in the overworld that are extremely susceptible to the sleep spell. And so using sleep and then running would be a better strategy in that scenario. Poidrac is still relatively new to the randomizer. I think this is only like his 8th race or something. And Dragon Warrior Randomizer, as I mentioned before, he plays a whole lot of Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, so that's just kind of like learning a bit up on the game.
Well, the good news is Poidrac did see the town, so if nothing else, he can just go right back at it and know exactly where to go.
And the other good news is, given the fact that he's chosen a strength agility build, he has a bit more agility than J-Man does, and that little bit of extra agility might be kind of the difference in terms of putting him over that threshold to start becoming a favorite to run from some of those monsters who are in that kind of desert zone that they have to cross over to get to that area.
Yeah, like this red dragon who just said, I'm just gonna bite you. Anyway, it's going to be the Staff of Rain for Poidrac. as J-Man takes a death, goes down to 1880 gold, and is going to rebuy. I don't think we've ever seen the Rimeldar shop, unless J-Man got while I wasn't looking, but...
Yeah, I don't think
J-Man...
either player has looked at it yet. And... yeah, unfortunately, if they had an actual gold grind that they could set up, rather than having to re-enter Tanagal over and over again, it would be easy to just grab, all the money for the big things and then save and then hope that Remolder has some big items. When you actually have to do this grind of walking in and grabbing 3 chests and walking back out, it's not nearly as worth it to spend the time when you're not even sure if you're going to be able to spend the money that you get.
Okay, so Poidrac just took up to 3,400. We'll see if he goes and... nope, not going to stop there. He's going to pick up some more gold. Poidrac has enough for full plate. So I don't know if this is full plate plus trying to get, like, maybe broadsword money. Could be a good idea here. Well, now I believe that's enough for full plate, broadsword, and large shield, but Poidrac's going to keep going here.
Early in the game, a flame sword. I mean, Poidrac is currently wielding a bamboo pole. Getting 9,800 for the possibility of a flame sword, if you find that in something, that would end up being like a real game changer. So that's another possible money destination that he could be going for. Or maybe he's going to be really patient and go for even more. We'll see.
The problem is, this is a pretty nasty walk you have to make just to get back to an unknown Rimeldar.
We're saying that, but J-Man is now just a few squares away from it, and I think this is only his second or third attempt getting over here, and so if you save your money with the king, I mean, again, it is the unknown, but I think on average, by the third attempt, the players would probably make it over here. In any case, J-Man is taking a look at the Remolder shop, and it has magic armor and the silver shield.
And no weapon upgrade. Just the bamboo pole.
So the silver shield is probably on J-Man's list, but yeah, at this point, he wants to explore and find a different town where he can actually get some offense.
Well, his exploration is probably going to get cut short here by the Star Wyvern, who manages to sleep him and wreck him.
We have seen a lot of enemies with abilities in this seed. The one main one that's working in the player's favor is that red dragon having the stop spell and the weak breath, and I think there was one other enemy that might have had something that was slowing it down, but
Golems also have stop spell. Golems have stop spell and hurt more, and are the spike tile, which means we're keeping our eyes out.
Yeah, when stop spell comes. I guess Poidrac has that information. Did J-Man ever actually check the tile in Hawk's Nest?
J-Man knows the Golem's abilities. Poidrac knows that there's a Golem in Hawk's Nest, so it's kind of no mode on that particular scenario.
And having the tracker just put up the stats for the Golem, it turns out he's only 25% stop spell and 25% hurt more, so even if the players learn stop spell, the Golem is still unlikely to be killable until they get a bit more to work with.
I mean, well, Poidrac's got 10k gold and Green Dragon problem.
But yeah, based on that gold amount, I imagine he's thinking Flame Sword, or anything. I mean, even if you found a broadsword after grinding 10k gold, that would still be a huge boon at this point. Meanwhile, J-Man, having checked the shop, seems like he is going to grab at least the gold for the silver shield. I don't know, given how slow this gold grind is, that he would get the magic armor money as well, seeing as he's already wearing full plate. I think I would just go for the silver shield in this scenario. What would you do, Smashy?
Brutal honesty, if I had the full plate, I would just be going and taking care of this later, as Poidrac is currently having red dragon problem. Like, yeah, the silver shield is good, but look at all the time J-Man's taking having to walk out, walk back in, get around, say, 1,800 gold a trip, and then occasionally you have to go buy keys, so that's slowing you down even more, as I think Poidrac wound up taking a death to the Red Dragon.
Right, and then you'll have to save with the king and probably die at least once on the way back to Remolder. Yeah, this is a huge time sink just to get the Silver Shield money early, when perhaps a few steps to the north of Remolder where we haven't seen, maybe there's Mountain Cave with Urdic Sword, or Mountain Cave with chests that would allow you to do a real gold grind and make this 10 times faster. So yeah, that does lend credence to your choice of just saying maybe you should just go explore.
And Poidrac's going to die again. And yeah, but look, J-Man's saving up for about the same as Poidrac, so I don't know what his plan is, because he did see the magic armor,
yeah, this is curious. I don't really have an explanation for what J-Man is up to right now. The one thing I can possibly imagine is planning to upgrade to the magic armor for the extra healing, and then having money left over to get a broadsword if he finds another town. I don't know. In any case, this could be an interesting question to ask the runners at the end of the match. Basically, once they got their keys out of Remolder and started doing a gold grind in Tanagel as they're doing, what was on their minds? What were they thinking?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they think, as Poidrac just gets fun policed again. I mean, fun police are going to be fairly weak in the late game, but level 7, they're still too... Once they stick that stop spell and get to attacking you, then you're gonna fall fast. Yeah, like there, Red Dragon just hits stop spell on J-Man, which means J-Man can't heal with Heal More, and is just taking a bunch of fire breaths, not going to be able to escape, is going to die here.
And it's interesting to note, they don't have a true gold grind that takes advantage of the glitch, but J-Man at this point has done 3 separate gold grinds. He grinded Tablet Cave in order to get half plate, he grinded Tanagel Treasury to get full plate, and then he grinded Tanagel Treasury again now to buy something presumably in Remolder. And so this is a whole lot of time sunk into slow gold grinds early in the seed. That said, it has been hard to gain more experience to advance. So, yeah, and with Poidrac doing a bit of the same, he is now looking at the shop. Did Poidrac just walk away from the shop and not buy anything?
Poidrac walked away, but Poidrac also knows of another town, so could be that Poidrac's banking on the other town having the goods.
Right. Any weapon, even just a broadsword or a hand axe, would be a huge upgrade that would help him get to level 8 and hopefully some better spells or better stats. So since he knows that there is another town, it was just like 2 screens to the west and a little bit south, I think. Hopefully he'll make it back there this time. Although if he runs into a stone man, we'll see if he tries to put it to sleep.
Well, Poidrac's gonna restock on... J-Man actually took a little bit more money and got up to 12,200 and still isn't going for Silver Shield. And yeah, Poidrac's making a beeline for that other town and gets away from the Snowman. Actually, a very slight favorite to run from the Snowman. Sees the Golem, gets away first try, he's not going to learn anything about it. And we have Cole.
Yeah, and this is where the strength agility build, that 41 agility he has versus 39 J-Man has, ends up being a real tipping point against enemies like the Stone Man, I believe.
And what else will be a tipping point is the Flame Sword.
Whoa. Gamble pays off. That is
Yeah,
huge.
Cole is loaded. We have Flame Sword, we have Magic Armor, we have nothing on the search spot, but we also have Silver Shield. But yeah, as you can see, Poidrac's attack just jumped up to 28, which means this Jordan Lord stands no chance. And J-Man just got his spell blocked, and now must face the attacks and the fire breaths of the Red Dragon. Chance heal more, but that spell hath been blocked, and down he goes. Meanwhile, I think Poidrac's actually found the west coast of the map and is just heading north a bunch. Try to find something.
Yeah, so they've already crossed kind of the width of the map. Looks like it wasn't too much further past Cole to get to that west edge. But now, yeah, it seems like a bunch of directions to explore further to the north. But now that Poidrac has the Flame Sword, unless he runs into somebody who's going to hit really hard, he should be able to use a combination of heal more.
That may have been an error.
Do you think he mismenued and meant to heal more and accidentally went up to and did return right there?
I believe so. I've seen that happen. With Repel, you just have to be careful with the items around whatever you're trying to hit. Like, I think last night in that race, I almost accidentally equipped a cursed belt. And that would have been problems, but I didn't. So, got away with that one. Anyways. But yeah, as you can see, Poidrac actually spent most of the time during this little back and forth behind on experience. And suddenly is now the experienced leader, although the Golem says otherwise.
And I was saying earlier about how I thought it would only take them maybe 3 tries in order to get back to Remolder. J-Man is now on... Oh, he did manage to get away from that red dragon. Okay, maybe he is actually going to make it to Remolder this time. I think he's gotten through the awful zone. And the zone that's right outside of town is going to be better.
I think the awful zone goes all the way up to Remolder. In the meantime, Poidrac being much more of a glass cannon that's going to die to an Axe Knight hitting in the face. And J-Man makes it back, so we'll see if he just buys magic armor, which is going to be a bit of a heartbreaker if he buys, magic armor for J-Man, so now he's got the best defense man can buy at 24. He now regenerates 1 health every 4 steps, and will only take 2/3 as much damage from Hurt and Hurt More, which there is quite a bit of Hurt More flying about, but...
Yeah, that Hurt More resistance is going to be useful, but yeah, not having the Silver Shield and now not having the money to buy a better weapon. Meanwhile, Poidrac is also pressing on. Honestly, I would go back to Zone 1 and 2 and just kill a few more monsters to get up to 600 experience. I'm worried that Poidrac is going to wipe here very quickly. And he could just kill like 3 more skeleton tier enemies and quickly get the next level just in case it has something amazing.
Yeah, Poidrac only 48 experience from the next level, but is enjoying about an 80 experience lead over J-Man.
And that's only going to grow until J-Man eventually finds somewhere that he can get a better weapon. And now explain to me, J-Man seems to be walking back. Why would you ever do that?
Don't ask me.
I guess he never checked the Hawk's Nest tile, but if he wants to do that, he could just return home. I don't know why J-Man would choose to walk through this zone.
Well, there's the block, so unless he can get away quickly, yeah, that'll do it for him. Okay, so Poidrac going to look north. See what kind of trouble's up there. Oh, here's some skeleton for you. This will actually be level 8, so quite a long gap between 7 and 8, but here we go, and we get 1 power, 0 agility, 8 health, 3 magic, and the spell of outside.
Not a whole lot to help things out there, sadly. And yeah, I know when you're looking up from the commentary booth, it's easier to be questioning some decisions as opposed to just the set of information that the runners have and also being in the heat of the tournament. But this one has been very curious, in my opinion, to watch in terms of some of the strategies so far.
It could just be some nerves, because I think both of our runners realize they've been on kind of trying to ferry this gold over to a town for a long while. Maybe both of them feel behind. It's starting to kind of creep into their thought process.
Definitely, I can imagine that. Like, you don't want to be... We're not quite an hour into the seed, but Poidrac just got level 8, J-Man's still level 7. That is not where you want to be over 50 minutes since the seed.
And Poidrac makes some finds, is going to find another cave and the final dungeon, Sharlock. You can see the west wall of it as Poidrac is unable to run from the Axe Knight and gets taken out. But we now have a new cave, and the final dungeon have just been found by Poidrac, just opening up that exploration and just taking an even bigger lead overall.
Yeah, in terms of both exploration and experience. That said, even though I'm kind of questioning what's going on with the runners, let's also definitely call out that this has been a difficult overworld map. We've seen multiple zones that have red dragons, axe knights, and the players just do not have access to equipment. Well, Poidrac has just started getting access to the equipment that could help them deal with it, but they have to spend an inordinate amount of time in a gold grind if they want to actually purchase that equipment. And so, given the enemies on the overworld map, the players just really don't have a great option to advance very far just yet.
Yeah, one of the bigger sticking points that can come up is just when the enemy difficulty spikes really fast. Like, you have Zone 1 and you instantly hit Sharlock enemies. That can bog down a seed just by itself. If you can't break out and find somewhere that has more of the mid-tier that you can kill.
I was in a seed last night where, admittedly, I missed an important portion of the map, but I was grinding Warlocks in Zone 1 until 62 minutes into the match, because it was just that. You went a little bit further and you got Sharlock to your enemies and just could not deal with it. Yes, I rolled that seed last night, Fury.
But yeah, even with Stop Spell and Normal Breath, you have to get the Erdrick's Armor to stop that, because one of the two main things that Erdrick's Armor has is Stop Spell immunity and then Fire Breath resistance, as J-Man hits level 8 and is about to get some moderate disappointment. But yeah, Erdrick's Armor, Stop Spell immunity and Breath resist. Without those, even a Stop Spell Baby Breath Red Dragon is going to ruin your day. As you can see, the days have been ruined many times.
And the moderate disappointment that J-Man has at the next level up, now that J-Man has gone to level 8, if I saw it correctly, I don't think he gained any more agility. So he's still at that 39 agility. I guess he has sleep that he can use against the Stone Man. But we're at that threshold where a few more agility points could really make a difference against some of the enemies you might encounter.
Yeah, you're looking at about, I think it's about mid-40s is when you're at least a coin flip to run from anything that is on a red dragon or an armor knight.
So yeah, stepping back, if yeah, we'll try to get J-Man advanced to level 8 on the tracker just to verify that he's still at 39 agility. Yeah, he is. Okay, great. Yeah, if you're at this portion in this race, like, what's your play? One of the options in the chat is re-roll the seed. Oh, it looks like J-Man has spotted Cole. Unclear yet to me if he's going to get there. Sadly, the knight has Dragon Lord 2 breath, but now he knows there's another town there. J-Man has a new objective in his sights, and I wonder if he'll make sure that he has at least 1,500 gold before he heads over there, because I would at least want to pocket broadsword money before I go after a new town. And sure enough, he is headed into the treasury.
Okay, sorry about the little AFK. Is J-Man going for another grind?
He just spotted Cole and died right outside of it, and so I was just saying I would make sure I had at least 1,500 gold before I headed to a new town, because a broadsword or a hand axe would be a huge upgrade. So I think that's what he...
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think 30k went... Since he already has a magic armor, 30k isn't going to get him anything in Cole.
Yeah, the flame sword was the only weapon. And yeah, otherwise half plate, full plate, magic armor, and silver shield were the other items that we saw in Cole. And since he already has the magic armor, and obviously won't have enough for the silver shield, which he already saw in Remolder, then yeah, he's just going to be very sad and out of luck. And I wonder if that'll cause him to do a 4th slow gold grind trying to get the flame sword, because given the options, like, I don't love it, but it's not a completely unreasonable play.
In the meantime, Poidrac having trouble against this Stone Man running away because Dragon Quest coin flips.
And Red Dragon is taking out Jade-Man. Our kind tracker has been trying to keep up with the death counter, and both of the players are kind of entering the teens. It has been a rough seed.
And J-Man gonna buy up some more gold and continue on with life.
But yeah, we can see the experience lead now starting to widen since Poidrac has picked up that flame sword. He's now like 250 or so experience ahead, and that lead is just going to continue to grow unless J-Man manages to find a weapon. Is there anything else? I guess basically he could find a cave where Erdrick's sword might be, is kind of his only possibility other than finding a different town that has a cheaper weapon available somewhere.
Yeah, Poidrac's been able to use that flame sword to start killing mid-tier enemies like the Droll Magi. I think there was some wraiths that Poidrac was able to kill. And that's really what's kind of gotten the experience lead here, being able to take out those mid-tier enemies.
But there really have not been a whole lot of mid-tier enemies on the map. Yeah, having seen that Drone Lord, I didn't notice what zone it was in. or what location on the map, but I might want to try to hang out there and kill 1 or 2 more of those, because once again, Poidrac is getting close to another level up, and I would want to get that level as soon as possible, because obviously a spell like Hurt More could really break this thing open. That said, this might be a good time to just call out all the other races that are going on today. Another race should just be starting now. Furon Burgundy versus Centroid is going to be on Randomania 2. Then later at 2 o'clock Eastern, there's going to be Vralis versus Fury. At 3 o'clock, there's not a restream, but Ikbin Maya is going to be playing Alijabrap. At 5 o'clock, Archfield Monk versus Ryguy on Randomania right here. At 8 o'clock, a big one for a lot of people to watch, Mr. Holmes versus Angel FM, 2 very good runners on Randomania 2. And finally at 9 p.m., Zarnax 42 versus Monsieur Slime on Randomania 3. Lots of races today and the final day of week 3.
Uh-oh. Poidrac just hit level 9 and got Stop Spell.
Will he... I still don't think the Golem is killable. Well, he's got Heal More and a Flame Sword, and we'll get some lucky things on the Golem, but he's only got 61 hit points, and he doesn't have that much armor.
Well, even if Poidrac can't defeat the Golem, this makes... If Poidrac can win the Quick Draw against the Red Dragon, this could certainly open things up.
That's true. If he Stop Spells the Red Dragon before it gets its Stop Spell off, then it'll keep casting Stop Spell on most of its turns. That would both allow him to get chances to get away, or with a Flame Sword, he could even potentially win a Red Dragon battle at this point.
So, of course, the moment Poidrac picks up Stop Spell, all the Red Dragons run off. They're just like, nope, I don't want any of that anymore. I think J-Man... Did J-Man die without seeing the,
I believe
Hawksnest?
so. I think he might have died to an Axe Knight before he got over to the Hawksnest tile. He had re-entered Hawksnest to check it out.
I think Poidrac is now going to make a beeline. By the way, the stats weren't very good. It was 1-0... and then a little bit of health and a little bit of magic. Mostly picking up the Stop Spell was the big thing, as the Werewolf of Stop Spell and Hurt More. So this is another enemy that, if you just remember that Stop Spell exists, that's an enemy you can easily hit with the Stop Spell and take out, and that's 95 experience. That is almost 20% of a level right now. Unfortunately, Poidrac's going to get beaten down by the Stone Man, so going back to start, well, J-Man's still trying to make it past the police roadblock.
Right, yeah, J-Man is still... He saw the town, but he hasn't even made it into Cole, right? Or did he actually make it there to see that it was disappointment? I think he still hasn't made it.
He hasn't made it yet.
Okay.
We don't know for sure what the overworld holds. It could be the flute or the armor. All we know is that armor would be really nice right now for, well, the obvious reasons. It's armor.
Alright. Poidrac may have the experience lead and the equipment to lead with the Flame Sword. However, J-Man...
is dead.
Did not cast Sleep on the Stone Man?
Nope, and Poidrac actually lost that quick draw, got Stop Spell by the Red Dragon off the ambush, and just managed to run away, so able to get a lucky run there. And shall continue exploring.
In addition to talking about how difficult this seed has been in terms of the overworld enemies, the stats have also not been great. They're not completely awful, but for the most part, they're a little bit below average here for level 8, and especially the agility on a seed where there's a lot of enemies that you simply can't kill and will need to run from. It would be nice to have more agility.
Yeah, in the meantime, Poidrac, I think, just found out that that's a big lake right there. So, I believe Poidrac's just going to loop around right back to Rimeldar and then realize what's going on and head back. Hopefully in the direction of that cave in Charlotte. I think, yeah, Poidrac's realized it.
All right, J-Man is heading this way for the nth time, successfully running from one red dragon. He has to get past the Remolder area, and then it's going to be like another screen over to the left and a little bit down to get to Cole. Will he finally be able to make it this time?
Yeah, this experience is just trickling in for Poidrac, but it is trickling in as J-Man's going to, I guess, take a pit stop at Rimeldar and then hopefully make it. Oh, Poidrac actually finding another cave and, well, a Spectre. Spectre's a good kid.
Yeah, last time I called out the experience difference, it was about 250, and now we're up to about 350 experience difference. So while the experience gap is not widening as quickly as I thought it would, it is slowly starting to open up. Poidrac has found swamps south, and so we'll have a chance to be able to travel to the second continent, assuming there is one.
Poidrac takes a few steps, realizes that you can use outside to reach the northern exit, and does so, and finds a whole open area. Hopefully, we'll find the goods. Took about 10 steps out of swamp. Night shows up. And
Dragon Lord 2 Breath, just like happened to J-Man right outside of Cole. And yeah, I think your 10 steps was generous. I think he was about 5 steps out of swamp. J-Man has got Cole on the screen, though. He's using Heal More. He's making sure he's all healed up. If he can hero walk for like another 5 steps and get past this Druid Lord.
Oh, you've got to get past the Axe Knight. Runs, fails, attacked to 28. Going to use Heal More. I believe he actually is a slight favorite to run from this thing, and he's away.
So
and
his relief will be met with ultimate disappointment when there's nothing useful he can buy, and there's no item on the search spot. This is going to be just tragedy heaped on tragedy.
And Womp. Meanwhile, Poidrac, not using the stop spell, gets stop spell by the red dragon and will fall.
And now I wonder if J-Man is giving any consideration to grinding a flame sword and trying to get back over here.
J-Man wasted almost no time immediately casting Return and heading back to his treasury, so time for 9,800 gold.
His 4th gold grind of the seed.
4th ghetto gold grind as well.
Yeah, this is the same thing that happened to me last night. I could never find a cave with chests to die in, and so even if I wanted to do a gold grind, it wasn't available. The only thing you could do is this so-called ghetto grind of walking out of the castle, walking back in, opening up the chest once again.
Meanwhile, it looks like Poidrac's just going to sit here for a little bit and try to grind to level 10.
Ah, Fury is remembering. Do you remember when they went over to the east side of the map? Poidrac saw a Magiwyvern, and it was also in an area that just had like a skeleton and a scorpion in a slightly different zone, possibly over there as well. That would actually be a really good area to be grinding in right now, but Poidrac either didn't make a note of it or has forgotten about that, but he is looking around trying to find good grinds somewhere.
Manages to get away from that stone man first. Yeah, Poidrac's only about 203 experience off, now under that.
But yeah, a Magiwyvern, they have the sleep spell. Magiwyverns are extremely susceptible to sleep, and with a flame sword, it would go down in probably 3 hits. That's worth 83 experience. That would be one of the best possible enemies to grind on Poidrac's side right now.
I mean, there are targets if you just remember your spell list. I think that if any of our runners take something from this race, remember your sleep, remember your stop spell, because those 2 spells can sometimes make your life a lot easier. Like last night's race, I think I was in that with you.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
you
actually...
got first place. I guess you found Cole like 4 minutes or something. I know Ness did. I
Oh,
found
here we
Cole
go.
at
Here we
111
go.
minutes last night.
Poidrac putting the stop spell on the werewolf is gonna try to take it down. But yeah, in that scene, our agility was really bad, so I was actually putting star wyverns to sleep. That's a coin flip. I was doing that to get away from them and try to get some exploration done.
But yeah, I missed that you could go north at the start of the map, and so, yeah, it was a very bad seed for me.
And yeah, there you go, utilizing stop spell on the werewolf to defeat it and gain 95 experience. Now remember sleep, or just run away.
But yeah, I almost always sleep as Stone Man because even when you're a favorite to run, sleep is 15 out of 16, and running, even when you have a ton of agility, is still only like 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4 towards the end of the game or something. So I almost always put them to sleep unless I'm doing a Charlock dive and need to preserve the magic.
Yeah, in the meantime, ooh, Poidrac getting the stop spell with the werewolf attacks, and J-Man has gotten the flame sword.
Thank goodness he made it on this try.
Yeah, and he almost got sniped by first a blue dragon, which he's actually a slight underdog to run from, and then an Axe Knight nearly got him.
But yeah, after all the bad luck he had trying to make it back over to Cole the first time, I'm glad he actually had some good luck for once to get over the second time. And with Flame Sword in hand, he has a chance to try to turn this back into a race.
Yeah, but that might be a bit optimistic going after the Axe Knight. Going to spend a lot of resources on this fight.
I know, from my own point of view, I know the stats somewhat well, but not well enough that I can just immediately predict what I'm going to hit for. So oftentimes when I get a new weapon, I'll just take a swing or two just to get a sense of what kind of damage range of output I'm doing right now. Oh, but he gets an excellent move. I'm not sure that he needed it on like the 4th or 5th hit there to finish him off. But that's
Oh, he's got a
good.
metal slime. And he ran away.
But yeah, sometimes it's also just even if you spend all your resources, just the vindication of finally beating one of these Charlock tier enemies after they have killed you time and time and time and time again. It's just the moral motivation that makes you feel good about yourself that you could actually get back into the race.
Okay, so J-Man able to take down that Axe Knight. Actually has the gear advantage now, having magic over Poidrac's chainmail.
And yeah, J-Man with a whole lot more races and experience under his belt. I'll be really curious to see how quickly he potentially can close this experience gap now, because I think he's going to be better suited to choosing the enemies that he can fight and running from the enemies he needs to run from.
And yeah, there's level 9, which is going to be a bit more disappointment. 1042. Or, well, it does bring Stop Spell, which is going to suddenly open up the Red Dragon.
And I don't know that I would think of it even at this point, but if J-Man remembers... I have to think he's going to continue exploring. Either that, or he's going to just sit right outside of Cole and try to kill a few more enemies and get one more level before he moves on.
Speaking of one more level, here comes level 10 for Poidrac. Going to get the level, will gain 4, 0, 7, and 3. The agility has just came to a grinding halt and no spells. And it looks like with that level gain, Poidrac's just gonna explore the world some more. As much as this green dragon allows it.
It's just nice to see the runners encountering these Sharlock enemies that they're seeing on, so far it feels like half to 2/3 of the overworld map, and not constantly dying to them. It's such a nice change of pace. We're an hour and 15 minutes into this seed, and it feels like this one is really just getting started now.
Yeah, finally our runners are starting to be able to do stuff that isn't just banging their head against the wall. Metal Slime for J-Man, those are down here. He's gotten 1, he's gotten 2. Metal Slime sticks around. Yep, and it runs.
But honestly, at this point, he can take down a Spectre easily. He's taken down some Axe Knights, so it's only going to be, I don't know, 3 or 4 enemies for him to get the same experience he would have gotten lucky with the Metal Slime. So it's not a particularly big deal right now. The Knight, however, has Dragon Lord 2 Breath, so that was a good choice to run.
Yeah, and noting the experience and people starting to get going, J-Man's actually starting to close up the experience gap, although exploration, he is lagging behind and he hasn't gone north to see those 2 caves and Sharlock. So Poidrac still holds some exploration advantage, but well, all J-Man has to do is hold that up key, and well, after that he has to hold the right key some, and then he'll start seeing all that stuff and even that up.
And I don't know that J-Man has actually looked at his stats. I wonder if he will take a look once he gets level 10 and see kind of exactly where the agility is at in terms of, making some choices about who we can successfully run from. Oh, getting back attacked by a knight, that's extremely scary, but fortunately the knight chooses not to use the breath. Oh, and on Poidrac's side, he forgot to stop spell the werewolf, and that might end up costing him here. Yep, that's a costly error that's going to cost Poidrac another death. Send him back to the castle. And it's giving J-Man the window he needs to continue to narrow this experience gap. J-Man is going to get level 10 with an excellent move on an Axe Knight. And he is now under 300 points behind. And it looked like J-Man paused there, perhaps to think about his options. But it looks like he might be electing to just continue to grind this desert. Honestly, the Axe Knights are a really good enemy right now, and they seem to be pretty frequent in this area where he is. Seems like the 5 enemies he's seen in that zone are the Spectre, the Metal Slime, the Axe Knight, the Knight, and the Blue Dragon. Spectre and Axe Knight are both killable. Blue Dragon is still a bit of a stretch for him. But at this point, I'd really be tempted to explore, because if you could find Garenham or Mountain Cave or the Grave and set up a true gold grind and get the Silver Shield, that would be kind of another game changer at this point, in terms of you'd probably be able to start taking the Blue Dragon down, and also you just need to get the exploration done at some point anyway. But that said, he's really hit a stride. With another excellent move on an Axe Knight, he is actually going to take the experience lead. It ended up being a huge setback for Poidrac to start back at the castle, have to walk through a bunch of easy enemy zones. Remember that the runners do not have the spell of Repel yet. However, they could have bought Fairy Water and Breckenry, as an aside, and as a result, walk a long ways back to get to anywhere interesting in the map. Meanwhile, J-Man has just been grinding, and now the experience lead is 1955 for J-Man and 1935 for Poidrac. Poidrac, that said, has explored a bit more of the map, and so he at least knows where some things are.
Yeah, J-Man I guess just gonna go ahead and do a bit of a mid-game grind here, try to get some more stats before going out.
Yeah, really, even 3 more agility. Obviously, Hurt More would be big. Repel would be really useful. Even Little Heal would help preserve the magic as they're going out and exploring. So basically, any spell and just a little bit more stats could really help potentially at level 11. And J-Man is almost there. I guess Poidrac is almost there as well, especially if he remembers to stop spell the werewolf. No, he's just choosing to run. You stop spell that guy, you could totally defeat him, Poidrac.
Yeah, Poidrac just running from a bunch of stuff while J-Man bites what he can kill. And wow, Poidrac actually ain't taken out by the Rogue Scorpion. I guess just thought there was a kill there and didn't quite get enough damage, so going to have to take that long walk back, as I believe this will be level 11 for J-Man, actually going to get that level first.
Yeah, that Rogue Scorpion has a really high defense power. So you need not only a good weapon, but a fair amount of strength to really deal the damage. I think he got some lower end rolls as well. But yeah, let's see what's going to come for J-Man on level 11.
Level 11 has 10 more power, 6 agility, 2 health, 15 magic, and the spell. We've got spell. We got Radiant.
Radiant, not quite as exciting, but honestly, those other stats were pretty exciting. I hope at this point J-Man feels confident to go out and do some exploring. That said, if you wanted to sit here and grind, the Blue Dragon is probably within reach at this point. I don't know that we saw the Blue Dragon have any special abilities. And so if you wanted to sit here and grind, he'd be able to grind now 3 of the enemies rather than just 2 of the enemies in this zone.
And it looks like he's going to take off. And if he keeps going north and then east, that's just a couple... All that water you saw near Rimeldar, all that is lakes. If he just goes east a bunch from here, he will pretty much instantly equalize the experience gap.
Or equalize the exploration gap, you mean? Yeah, this is exactly the same area that we saw Poidrac traverse. Yeah. Although it looks like J-Man, okay, he's kind of discovering this first circular lake by walking around it.
Has managed to block the Star Wyvern spell, And is just going to flex that stop spell to take out Star Wyvern. That'll be 105 experience.
Yeah, and at this point, we're really starting to see J-Man's more experience with the game, having run a lot more races than Poidrac, really starting to pay off, as he's being able to remember the spells he needs to use against the enemies and pick the correct fights, so that just in the past, feels like 5 to 10 minutes, he managed to go from a 300-point experience deficit to about a 200-point experience lead.
Yeah, although I feel like he's still got to feel behind because of just how long
absolutely.
the entire process of getting gear was.
It was a tough seed, and if he reflects on it, he knows that it was a tough seed with these enemies, but 4 gold grinds is just a nightmare in any seed.
Yeah, J-Man actually finding a little path there to the north. We'll see if he goes through there. We know it has nothing up there, but... well... and yeah, J-Man's gonna give the Blue Dragon a go. Although it is hitting pretty hard. This feels like maybe 5 or 6 rounds to kill this thing if it doesn't show up. Oh, Blue Dragons with... looks like low percentage hurt.
Yeah, that's another reason I would choose to fight the Blue Dragon, even if it's going to run you out of your resources by causing you to have to use 2 or 3 heal mores. It's still useful to know so that if they show up with heal or heal more of their own, or some other spell that you need to know about, you'll know about it for Sharlock. Okay, exactly. So now J-Man has the information that this is just an enemy he wants to run from right now. He could choose to stop spell it and defeat it as well. But given how many rounds of combat it usually takes this attack power to kill a Blue Dragon, I might just choose to run from him now that he's a favorite to run.
That while he's going after it, he's managed to block the spell and is just swinging away. All these hurts turn from mostly free turns to completely free turns. There's heal more. It's only going to take about 1 or 2 more hits. And there's a nice 180 experience for him.
So yeah, not bad. It might turn out to be a little bit of a Pyrrhic victory if he runs out of magic points as he's exploring before he has a chance to find another location or another inn. But definitely 180 experience is nothing to sneeze at. And we'll see which direction he goes.
And he's learning the hard way that the green dragons can put him to sleep. Let's see if he stops spells and fights. He's going to stop spell.
And starting to enumerate all the Sharlock enemies that we've seen so far. Green dragons have sleep, that's going to be dangerous. The red dragons like stop spell and weak breath, and so they're very friendly. The Axe Knight was pretty vanilla. The blue dragon has heal more and hurt. And do we see anything out of the golem? Hurt more, I think?
Golems have, I think, 25% to stop spell and hurt more you. The Star Wyverns look to also have sleep. And the werewolf has stop spell and hurt more.
So, wow. Almost every enemy in Sharlock has a special ability. That's going to be potentially rough, although some of them are helpful abilities, like the red dragons.
Yeah, a bunch of special abilities flying about. As J-Man's actually managed to find that little cluster and has found the mountain cave.
You have to imagine the Silver Shield is on his mind at this point.
Absolutely. He should...
The problem is he doesn't have any heal mores left, so he might need some luck in order to open up the chests he needs.
Yeah, he should be able to utilize herbs to heal. But here's the first chest. It is gold. So yeah, main thing he's looking for here, Erdrick's Sword and the Stones of Sunlight. As we're going to see the top 2 chests, we have the Stones of Sunlight, so with that, the Erdrick's Token and the Staff of Rain, J-Man can actually go ahead and make the Rainbow.
And if I recall correctly, the jerk was just that little cave that was on the way to Remolder.
So yeah, J-Man's going... So yeah, that's pretty much just on the way. Found a torch as well. Just has to get through these last few steps. Getting swamped now, going to get to that chest, and we'll find another torch. Meanwhile, Poidrac's going to re-equalize the levels, but just... J-Man's ability to fight stuff and his willingness to fight stuff has suddenly opened up an 800 experience lead, and, well, he might die here whether he likes it or not. We'll see if he gold grinds. And yeah, he's just swinging. He's just going to take the death here.
Yeah, the Star Wyvern with Sleep is the perfect enemy, honestly. Like, I would want to see that here in the bottom after I manage to get all the chests, because that's basically a free way to get into the gold grind now. You know where there's a silver shield. Easy gold grind to set up, and now he has the agility and spells where he's actually likely to get back to Remolder and be able to buy the shield quickly.
Yep, so for the first time, J-Man is going to do the proper chess glitch. And just to explain how that works, yeah, you have 2 keys, that's enough. Just to explain how that works, due to how old this game is, the way they program the chests is that they only have room to hold 8 chests as opened. So J-Man was able to completely empty out Mountain Cave for 5 chests. Once you go back to the throne, and the trigger to kind of reset that is going to the overworld. However, dying is go straight back home. Most importantly, do not go to the overworld. So J-Man managed to collect the 5 chests in Mountain Cave, and then the death took him straight back to the throne room, which will mark those 3 chests as open, so you can't retake them. And after you take 8 chests, once you try to take chests after that, the game simply doesn't disappear them, and you can take them over and over again to collect as much gold as you need. And well, J-Man has decided he wants this much gold, and he's off to try to get the silver shield.
Will you remember to buy more keys before he leaves? I'm curious. He's down to 1 key. I guess he is headed back over to Remolder, so maybe he'll think of it over there, but it's a little bit dangerous to be walking around with just 1 key right now. However, this is J-Man's 5th gold grind. That's the bad news. The good news is it's definitely his last. Once he buys a silver shield, there's nothing else that money can buy that he really needs other than the occasional herb.
Yeah, J-Man taking no chances with that. In the meantime, J-Man is actually pulling pretty close to level 12. He might actually get that on the way in if the monsters are favorable.
Yeah, and at level 12, there's only 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 5 levels left for the rest of these spells to appear. So there's a 1 in 5 chance that it'll get hurt more, or that'll get repel. All these things could be really useful.
And he's managed to block the spell. Now let's see. Let's see if he fights or runs.
He's choosing to fight, and the red dragon dodged his first attack. I kind of like the idea of fighting, though. He still has 5 heal mores left in the tank. Remolder's only like 10 steps away. This would be worth a lot of experience. He is carrying all the gold, but he saved with the king, so if he has to reset, he can. Meanwhile, over on Poidrac's side, we see him running away from a red dragon. And so once again, the difference between Poidrac and J-Man right now is J-Man is fighting the enemies that are killable using the spells. Poidrac's running away. J-Man's going to be rewarded with another level that sadly doesn't give any spells, but does give some more useful stat gains. And now he will try to continue on to Remolder. And if he can get a few more steps, he's going to be able to buy himself a Silver Shield, which will be another huge upgrade to his damage points, defense points, so that he'll take less damage from all these enemies. And J-Man is buying a Silver Shield.
Yep, and that brings his defensive power up to 72 now, so... Yeah, suddenly he's taking a lot less physical damage compared to Poidrac. Just has to try to...
He didn't buy more keys, though, so he's down to 1 key. If he finds Garenham... I mean, I guess Remolder is not that hard to get back to at this point, but he might find himself in a little bit of a unhappy situation. If he finds Cantlin, hopefully he'll remember to buy keys there. Also, he's right next to the Jerk Cave, and I think he might have just remembered that and is going to walk over there and pick up his Rainbow Drop. And meanwhile, Poidrac is still trying to run from werewolves. You could totally kill that guy. J-Man is trying to find the Jerk Cave. He instead goes into Sunstone's cave, but then he remembers that there's another cave further to the south. So in a moment, I believe he'll be picking up his Rainbow Drop. And I guess since he went into Mountain Cave, I think Charlock was already on his screen as well. So he at least knows approximately where Charlock is in the map. Can't remember for absolute certain if he saw it or not. And I should point out that even though it is possible for Poidrac to kill some of these enemies that he's trying to run from instead, it is also the case that he's still running with just the chainmail, and so he does have less armor and therefore is taking more damage from a number of these enemies. But at the same time, if you run from nearly everything you encounter, you're never going to get the level ups you need, and unfortunately we already know from level 12, he's not going to learn any more spells at level 12 that are going to help him out either. So either Poidrac needs to get himself some more equipment that'll give him the bravery he needs in order to fight some of these enemies, or he's going to fall even further behind. At this point, J-Man has nearly 1,000-point experience lead. I also do wonder at what point it's going to reoccur to J-Man again that he needs to check out what's happening over in Hawksness. Now that he has the Silver Shield, coupled with Healmore, Magic Armor, and the Flame Sword, that is strong enough that he should be able to expect to take out any Spike Tile enemy. And so if that happens to be a thought that pops into his head right now, I have to imagine he might head back to Hawksness just to try to find out if Erdrick's armor might be hiding there. Unfortunately, J-Man gets put to sleep by a Star Wyvern and killed. That said, I wonder when he's right outside the castle again. I guess Hawksness isn't visible on the starting screen. You have to go like 3 or 4 steps to the east to see it. There's always the possibility that this will all of a sudden cause it to spring to mind. Oh, he's looking at his key situation. Great. I was worried that he was going to forget about the keys, but he is going to go buy more keys right now. So that's one fewer thing to worry about on J-Man's side in terms of running out of keys that could cost him a bit of time. And I'm thrilled to pieces to see that Poidrac is fighting a werewolf after having blocked its spell. And this is going to be worth a lot of experience, and hopefully this will help him get the memo that, yes, this is a good enemy that you should be fighting, and it's going to help you get level 12. 95 experience right there. And yeah, it's been pointed out that Poidrac has actually put the Stone Man to sleep as well. So that's good. It's still a pretty tough enemy to fight. I might want to still just sleep and run because of all the time it takes to kill a Stone Man. And meanwhile, we have seen that there's a golem on Poidrac's side. We've seen that there's a golem in Hawk's Nest. I don't know that J-Man actually successfully made it to the Hawk's Nest tile yet, but he's about to see it. And the golem did have abilities. And so we'll have to see if J-Man ends up stop spelling the golem. He might be able to defeat it even without that, though. We'll see what happens. All right, unfortunately, J-Man's spell got blocked, and so he decided to do probably the smart thing, which is to run away. It backs you up off the tile. Now he can take the initiative in the next battle and get his stop spell in first. Now any of the golem's stop spells are going to be blocked and basically wasted turns. J-Man has Heal More, and with 76 hit points and all of this armor, he has just enough that he can probably survive 2 golem attacks unless they're very high rolls. And so we should be able to take down the golem now. Wow, and with 42 hit points, he gets hit for 41. That was close. But yeah, he manages to take down the golem, and we get to discover that hiding in Hawk's Nest is going to be, here's a level up. 19 more hit points is pretty nice, and a new spell. Can't wait to see what that is, but let's also see what's hiding in Hawk's Nest. He learned Little Heal spell. That's nice. He searched and found nothing. That means the armor is on the overworld. We'll need to find Caitlin to find Erdrick's armor, and Fairy Flute is in a chest. My goodness. And yeah, for anyone arriving late to this race, it is the case that basically the stats were not great at the start, and the seed basically funneled you through a bottleneck without any useful locations other than Breckenridge to buy a bamboo pole and clothes, where you had red dragons and armored knights and wizards and all kinds of things before you could get to the town of Remolder. And so that ended up being a very slow start, followed by a very slow mid-game, and only around an hour 20 minutes when the players both had flame swords. Did we really get to where they were making any progress at all in this seed? So, neither player has seen Caitlin. We've actually only seen Breckenridge was right by the start. Hawk's Nest was pretty close to the start. Remolder was a bit over to the left. Cole was a bit further over to the left. We haven't seen Caitlin or Garenham. And we've only seen a couple of steps on the second continent, assuming that it was a second continent, after Swamp South. But even just to get to Swamp South, which is over near Sharlock and Mountain Cave, players have to go all the way from nearly the right end of the map where they start to the left end of the map, then go north, then cut back over to the east to get over to those locations. So there's quite a bit of walking to do, and there's at least 3 different zones that have Sharlock tier enemies. Fortunately, at this point, J-Man should be able to handle everything the overworld's going to throw at him. Poidrac still doesn't quite have the armament, so he's going to struggle a bit more, but at least he's learned how to use Stop Spell and Sleep to counter some of these enemies at this point. I'm not sure how long I expect the seed to go for these two runners. I don't think it was a 2.5 to 3 hour seed necessarily. We saw some questionable decisions from both runners kind of in the early to mid game around level 7. It should be noted that J-Man has done not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 separate gold grinds in this seed. First for half plate, then for full plate, then for magic armor, then for a flame sword, and finally got a true gold glitch gold grind to get the silver shield. Most recently, the other ones were just ghetto grinds using either Tablet Cave or after he got keys, using the 3 gold chests that were in the Tanagel Treasury. But the extreme difficulty of the seed, coupled with the difficulty just making it to a town, getting through the Red Dragon Zone, has caused this to be a very, very slow start. But both players are making some progress now. Poidrac has advanced to level 12, and so that is going to give him some more advantages. The agility is going to help try to make up for the lack of defense power he has in terms of equipment, wearing only the chainmail. And Jane-Man, meanwhile, is starting to really walk the map and get some exploration done. If he manages to find Swamp Cave and see Sharlock, he probably saw Sharlock already, but if he managed to find Swamp Cave up here, then he would be even with Poidrac in terms of the locations that they have found. And Smashy had to step away for a little bit, and so sorry if things have gotten a little bit lighter on the commentary. Right now, with both players just kind of grinding some enemies and doing a little bit of exploring, J-Man got hit by the Knight, which has Dragon Lord 2 Breath. He's going to be sent back to the castle. Poidrac is still just trying to grind out some more if he can find some easy enemies to fight. The werewolves are pretty good right now. He's really kind of settled into the rhythm of grinding these werewolves, similar to J-Man when he settled into the rhythm of grinding Axe Knights right outside of Cole after getting his flame sword. But now would be a good time, just as a reminder, to review the other races that are going on today, because there's a whole lot of races here on Sunday. So let me pull up the list. So right now in Randomania 2, Furon Burgundy versus Centroid. At 2 p.m., Vralis versus Fury is going to be on Randomania. At 5 p.m., Archfield Monk versus Ryguy on Randomania. At 8 p.m., Mr. Holmes versus Angel FM on Randomania 2. And at 9 p.m., Zarnax42 versus Monsieur Slime on Randomania 3. And then after the conclusion of those final matches, we will have the matchups for Week 4.
Indeed, sorry about stepping away for a bit. Looks like Poidrac's doing the mid-game grind now while J-Man tries to get exploration done.
Exactly. Basically, Poidrac has discovered that he can kill both the Stone Man and the werewolves using his combination of spells, and so he's doing that grind right outside of Remolder. And J-Man is trying to go kind of to that northeast direction back where he found Mountain Cave to see that other cave, which we know is Swamp Cave, and perhaps do some exploration on the second continent if he can get over there.
Yeah, if my memory is serving correct, right now we're missing Garenham, which I think now is confirmed has to have 8 chests in it, so pretty decent chance of tying the sword. And Cantlin, which as always has the coordinate.
Right, and we know the coordinates have to be to the armor. I don't know if it was while you were away. J-Man took out the golem in Hawk's Nest and it was empty, so the armor is on the map and the food's in a chest somewhere.
Alrighty then, so yeah, I had to go take care of some stuff really fast, so
You have time in this race. We are an hour and 50 minutes in, with players at only level 12 and 13. No one has the armor yet. Our tracker, if you want to update that J-Man did pick up the rainbow drop. I think that's the only other thing that hasn't been updated on the tracker. And J-Man, I'm not sure if he just found a spot where he's trying to grind a little bit again. I'm a little bit lost of where he is in the map, but it doesn't seem like he's been walking back over to the spot that has the other cave he hasn't been into yet.
I don't know if he's trying to see if maybe something's hiding in the swamp or not, but I don't think you want to be grinding in a swamp without Erdrick's armor, so... Well, he's going to kill this green dragon, going to bring him a little bit closer to the level, and... Oh yeah, I don't think he's seen north of here, so maybe he's going that way.
Oh, right. There was that kind of dead end in the northwest corner of the map that we saw Poidrac see a whole lot earlier, perhaps.
Well, it is opening up a little bit, so... Oh, we got a bridge, we got some swamp that is quickly closing up into nothingness. Have to see what's over the bridge.
But yeah, at this point, at least the magic points have become pretty reasonable. So J-Man can pretty much walk the map unafraid. The only thing that's going to happen is eventually you can run out of magic points after fighting a number of enemies you're having to heal through walking through a bunch of swamps. But I don't think, other than getting surprised by a green dragon or a star wyvern that puts him to sleep, there's really anything that's going to be capable of killing J-Man right now unless he runs out of magic.
Well, there's always the possibility that he runs into a red dragon, which ambush connects a stop spell, and then he just can't get away before it grinds him down. But have we seen the Armored Knight yet?
I do not recall having seen any AKs in this seed, so that's a good point. We haven't seen the Armored Knight, and is that it? That might be the only Charlotte enemy we haven't seen yet.
I believe it is.
I sure hope he's not on the spike tile of Charlock with sleep.
Oh boy. Anyway, J-Man finding big old pile of nothing up here. Poidrac's going to get 0 to 17. It's actually a double empty. Did I miss that the first time around? Anyways, looking like I believe this is going to be enough to level J-Man to 14.
And we're still looking for the big hurt more. And Repel, honestly, would still be super useful.
Big hurt more. J-Man just got the big hurt with 23 attack power and a spell. Repel.
Alright, that's pretty nice.
Suddenly,
all of a sudden,
like that, we are
even
getting
without Erdrick's sword, 120 attack power. Yikes!
Yeah, suddenly we are getting very close to ready to beat the Dragon Lord, but we still have to find that Caitlyn to get that armor. Because without that armor, the Dragon Lord's breath attack is going to deal up to 72 or so damage, and yeah.
Yeah, people like to say that tactically you don't need the armor to win, but in practice you always need the armor to win in Dragon Warrior Randomizer race.
So yeah, right now with Erdrick's sword, that's a 12-point improvement over the Flame Sword. J-Man's attack power jumped to 132, which isn't quite enough with only 10 heal more, but it's not far off.
And J-Man was in danger there from a Star Wyvern that managed to put him to sleep, but then he got the stop spell landed, and so now he's going to be able to take out the Star Wyvern. And I think he's just returning to Remolder at this point to refresh his magic points since they've gotten so low. He managed to check out the northwest corner of the map, so now we'll probably head back to the northeast corner.
Yeah, the question there, will he go through the swamp cave or just go beyond that and kind of finish out that exploration, as this Star Wyvern's giving them some major trouble.
So yeah, just to once again enumerate the things that have been tough for them in the seed. Overworld enemies have mostly been the level 0 enemies, which were easy. The Zone 1 and Zone 2 enemies, which all had abilities, which made things really difficult. After that, they immediately stepped out into Sharlock tier enemies, which have covered like half of this map. The stats had not been great up until, I guess now here at level 14, all of a sudden they're starting to look decently great for J-Man. And yeah, no hurt more. We're at level 14. Repel only just showed up, and that would have been super useful, although players could have been buying Fairy Water. And we might have even seen one Fairy Water at least gotten used at some point already in this one. But just a lot of things that can slow down any race are just kind of all piling up on the racers today.
Yeah, another thing I want to add, the gear situation has just been really annoying as well. I think all we've seen are the bamboo pole and the flame sword for weapons, and we've only seen silver shields for shields, so our runners have had a difficult time getting good gear, and with no hurt more, that has really hampered their offensive capability to the point where they're just now really able to start breaking out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The only of the 3 towns they saw, the only weapons available were the bamboo pole and the flame sword. And they had to get the flame sword before they could do a true gold grind. So they basically were forced to do the ghetto grind at the Tanagel Treasury in order to get the money to buy the flame sword, because there was just no way out of jail in the seed other than doing that. What a crazy seed.
J-Man's going to go through the swamp cave, try to find something on the other side. Although I'm wondering, doing the annual walk, I wonder if this is to see the spike tile.
He's got to be thinking about the fact that he knows the armor is going to be on the location, and so long as he's here, he both wants to know about a potential grind and perhaps go ahead and just nab the princess, which he may or may not need, depending upon the coordinates.
Oh, he's got a blue dragon here. We know those are somewhat crippled by stop spells, so he's going to do that and just hack it down with some pretty nice speed.
Yeah, he'll have no trouble taking out this blue dragon. I think he'll rescue the princess, and he has plenty of magic, so we'll probably just outside after that, but then I would continue to walk around with the princess and start exploring the second continent. Not rescue that princess until you know that she's actually going to be necessary. He ought to be able to stay alive with the princess in arms for a long time. Ooh, he's actually choosing to grind the blue dragon right now, deciding that this is a good grind spot. It's better than the golem, because, yeah, golem is rarely a particularly great grind. And he's strong enough to take it out. Once he does a stop spell, it's a pretty easy enemy. He's like, hey, I can finally pick up some experience here. I wonder if this means he's going to grind a few more blue dragons, and then as his magic points start getting low, if he'll go rescue the princess and then just immediately outside and return home and bring the princess back and come back here again later. I'm not sure exactly what his strategy will be at the quote-unquote end of this grind. I definitely don't mind the grind from the point of view of you want to have more agility than this by the time you're going into Sharlock. But man, we are 2 hours into this race. No one has the armor. There are still 2 towns that have not been found. This is turning out to be an epic match, and the players are fighting for their very lives in the tournament. Whoever loses this match will not be able to advance into the bracket stages, as these players are both 0-2 in the tournament so far. So there was a solid, I want to say, close to an hour, I think, that J-Man was behind in experience. Probably from about 15 minutes into this race to maybe an hour and 15, if I'm remembering correctly. Because Poidrac had gotten a little bit ahead when J-Man was first doing a ghetto grind for some armor, and then had managed to get the money over to Cole and get the flame sword a whole lot ahead of J-Man and start earning some experience that way. That said, since J-Man got his flame sword, he immediately turned on his grind, started using all of his spells to his advantage, and at this point he leads by over 2,000 experience, it looks like right now, and that experience gap is just going to continue to widen as he's very efficiently grinding these blue dragons, and it's going to have level 15 here in probably another minute or so.
Or looks like he's leaving to explore. Maybe just wanted to get close to 15 and try to kind of wrap everything up at once. Got to figure out which way to go here, though. Sorry, in these past few minutes I've just been quite busy, so hopefully that will calm down. I'll be able to finish this. Anyways, yeah, looking like level 15 is going to be off this Axe Knight. Interesting that he did not rescue the princess.
Yeah, I already just made a note on Post-it. I want to ask him about that at the end of the race as well. Like, you're already in there, you already killed the blue dragon, you're just going to outside anyway. Why not pick up the princess while you're there? She might be useful.
In the meantime, 11 more powers, so... this is starting to escalate in a hurry, and now you kind of wonder...
Poidrac sword might not be necessary.
Yeah, at this point, now you kind of start wondering... Did I maybe grind a little bit too much? Because now you're doing all this exploration, and... Well, if you do pick up Poidrac sword, you're at 141 attack power. That should be enough to do the job if you can get down there and...
Yeah, but with 64 agility and at least 2 Sharlock monsters that have sleep, still sitting at just barely 102 hit points, there's kind of trade-offs on both sides. I can see what you're saying, that this could already be potentially like go time level. On the other hand, there's still definitely some potential negatives that could make Sharlock be tough.
I think the main thing here is you're looking at the timer, it's 2 hours in.
That is huge. 2 hours in, from J-Man's point of view, he's done 5 gold grinds. He still hasn't found Sharlock, hasn't found Caitlin, hasn't found Garanham, doesn't know where the armor is. It's gotta feel dismal from his point of view.
Yeah, and he's starting to run out of MP as well, so he needs to find a town and fasten... Oh look, a town. And it's Caitlin, so he will be able to pick up coordinates here, and we shall, at 2 hours in, we shall know where the armor is located at. We just have to go and get it.
And he did remember to refresh his keys the last time he was over in Tanagels, so he doesn't have to worry about running out of keys right now, if I've done my keeping up with things correctly. So let's find out what these coordinates are going to be. Are they going to be countable, or is he going to be headed back into the swamp to rescue the princess?
And survey says, thou may go and search, 45 north, 4 east.
I don't remember It didn't seem like they could go too far to the north right at the start. I felt like they got like 20 blocks up and then hit a wall of water there because they couldn't go very far north or east.
Here's what I'm thinking. I think you have to loop around back to where Sharlock is. And then I think from there you might be able to see over to this. I think you have to loop around the world to get there.
Could be.
So it might be useful to take like maybe Tablet Cave or one of these bridges and just kind of figure out what the coordinates of that are, and then walk around and pick up your count from there.
J-Man looks like he saw that and maybe he's already drawn a map and then just decided to immediately give up, or is he still... He's counting. Did he write it down wrong? Is he going 4 north and 45 east? No, he's going west. Is he going to try to walk all the way around and count the whole time? There have been many decisions by runners that elude me while I'm just watching them in the moment, and so this is another thing I'm going to have to ask about at the end of the match. I mean, he was literally 10 seconds away from gathering up the princess and another 20 seconds or 30 seconds to walk her up to the throne room and have the GPS. And he chose not to do that. And now, I don't know, he got back at, let's call it 2:05. Let's see when this either counting ends or he abandons the counting to go get the GPS. How many minutes it takes, we'll see. That said, if he does manage to successfully count this out, it's one of those kind of like climbing Mount Everest things that it will be an impressive achievement, even if only to say that you have done it.
I mean, assuming that how I'm thinking the map is going to kind of form does...
Yeah, it's kind of like a capital C, basically. Yeah, they have to go to the left and then up and then right, and it kind of circles around. It does seem plausible. Also, it should be noted that the players are still missing 8 chests, 3 in the back of Garenham, and 5 in the grave, which has to be in the back of Garenham. In the overworld, which could contain Poidrac's sword, the death necklace, the fairy flute, and we feel like we've kind of seen most of the map. We have no idea where these remaining locations could be.
Yeah, Garenham is still a big question mark. Poidrac elected to try to explore beyond Sharlock and just got immediately sniped. I think Poidrac's going to make the move here on the Golem. He's going to get some disappointment and realize that he will need to find Cantland. Although Poidrac just got that level 14 and saw that massive strength gain going to block the Golem spell. Should be a free fight from here and, well, free disappointment, really. Meanwhile, J-Man's managed to walk back over to Sharlock. Looks like still attempting the count. And Poidrac may be going for these golems.
He got the golem. He searched and found nothing, but he seems to just be happy to have a repeatable tile to grind. And yeah, honestly, in this seed, like, this is definitely a killable enemy. It's not the best grind, but again, if the choice is between a not optimal grind and a spike tile grind, like, the spike tile grind is often good to go for if you're just trying to get some more experience.
Meanwhile, J-Man's just going to casually pop the bridge, and yeah, he's going to go get the princess. So what are we going to say, about 4 or 5 minutes he spent doing that?
I decided it was 2:05. Yeah, so now here it is at 2:10. So let's say he spent 5 minutes basically to then return here and fight the blue dragon again.
To be fair, he did kind of walk the path back to Swamp anyways. The thing was, he was just slow walking a bunch of it, so maybe not 5 minutes in reality, but still a little bit of time lost.
I think even saying 5 minutes is kind. It's going to take him more time to go rescue the princess, go back there, and now he has to walk it again, even if he's walking more quickly. I think in the end, this move cost him anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes. That's even counting experience that he's going to get along the way. That said, we're now more than 2 hours into the seed, and fatigue could be setting in for these players. I don't recall what time zones either of these guys might be in, but if you started this one before you had lunch, for example, and now all of a sudden your stomach is growling, you've been playing for 2 hours, you were wondering if the other person's about to dot done ahead of you and you haven't even gotten the armor yet, it's kind of a rough time if you put yourself in the shoes of the players right now.
Yeah, I think that morning coffee might be starting to wear off. But yeah, J-Man's gonna take out this blue dragon, grab the princess, be only a red dragon or golem or metal slime away from the level. And yep, there's the princess grab. Gonna be interesting to see if he just goes ahead and gets 16 now, or if he's gonna get it on the way back. As Poidrac, I think, failed to hit a stop spell and paid the price for it. And yeah, no MP to heal more. I think missed the stop spell and just died to the golems. But we'll see if Poidrac just gonna go ahead and grind here, but I think once Poidrac sees level 15, he's going to see that 10 more power. He's going to see his strength over 100. Well, Poidrac actually on strength agility does not even have the health to safely fight the Dragon Lord. You optimally want 97 health, so that at full health you will always survive 248 Dragon Breaths, the maximum it can roll.
That said, he's also missing like 40-something defense points to be able to limit things to 48 from the Dragon Lord. I mean, yeah, from Poidrac's point of view, like, I mean, sure, one of the numbers is turned green, but it's not even worth talking about. He's so far away from being able to defeat the Dragon Lord.
Meanwhile, someone that just got a little bit closer is J-Man, getting 5, 13 agility, 15 magic. That is absolute go mode.
Well, it would be go mode if he had the armor. Sadly, he still needs to dig that up, but at least he's going to have a princess to work with to tell him where to go. So we'll get the princess home, we'll get the GPS. For those who don't know, when you return the princess to the castle, she grants you her love, which appears as an item in your inventory, Gwaelin's love. It will tell you your location on the map relative to the castle, how many steps north and west, for example, and he can use that as a GPS, the Gwaelin positioning system, in order to get to the coordinates the old man told him, 45 north and 4 east, which are going to be where the armor is buried.
Yep, and he does not hold B to the king, so he will successfully get out of there. And yeah, with those stats, he probably doesn't even need to worry about Erdrick's sword now.
Agreed.
He's gonna get 8. He's gonna get 4 more defense once he finds Erdrick's armor, which bumps him up above 86, which is the magic number to bring the Dragon Lord's physical attacks in his second form down to a maximum of 48.
Yeah, but even that maximum doesn't matter. If he hits for 49, he can survive with his 107 hit points. Honestly, the Charlock is going to be the bigger thing, because with an agility of only 77, we know there's at least 2 enemies that can put him to sleep in Charlock. I think getting through the Gauntlet of Charlock is going to be potentially more the problem with enough magic points that'll be able to get to defeat the Dragon Lord, but he definitely has the stats where he's Dragon Lord eligible now.
Yeah, it's going to come down to if they're a bunch of green. Well,
is he defense breaking?
Yeah, he's defense breaking everything with sleep, so...
The Star Wyvern and the Green Dragon, once he gets the armor?
Yeah, he's defense breaking them both, so that takes a lot of dread out, so really the only
So basically the only is the Armored Knight that we haven't seen. Or the Red Dragon getting a backstop. No, it won't get to be able to do the stop spell once he has Erdrick's armor either, so even the Red Dragon isn't going to be a threat, right?
Pretty much. That's what we've been hoping for this armor the entire seed for, and well... Uh-oh.
Can you imagine what different a seed this would be if... Oh yeah, I kind of took a look at that offline as well.
Uh-oh.
Let's imagine we didn't know that information just yet, though.
Oh, wait a second.
Yes?
It looks like I might have been thinking wrong on the map. It looks like actually the second continent's gonna have the armor.
Indeed. Since it was east of the castle, it seems like after going all the way to the west, when you come back to the Charlock area, didn't get you far enough back to the east, and so you have to get to the second continent in order to get to the search spot to dig up the armor. But now, at 2 hours and 15 minutes, or a little bit more, it seems like J-Man is finally going to pick up Erdrick's armor and be ready to try to take on Charlock. For those just arriving, to get a recap of this, what's turned out to be an awful seed for these runners. We started out with a very kind Zone 0 on a 5 strength start with 80% red slimes and 20% magicians, both of which were very quickly killable. The magicians, I think, started becoming killable just like level 2 or level 3. However, then you branched out into zones 1 and 2, and enemies had hurt more. They had fire breath. It seemed like every enemy you encountered had some kind of special attack. And if you branched forth even further than that, the entire seed bottlenecked you into an area that had red dragons and armored knights. And all of that was before you could even reach Remolder.
We haven't seen armored knights yet, but yeah,
Axe Knights, yeah.
We have seen, Axe Knights have been a problem. Basically, we jumped from the small fries to Charlock enemies. And our gear options have been super limited. Like, you can see Poidrac doesn't even have a shield yet because...
Breckenry had the bamboo pole and clothes. And then the only other weapon that any of them has seen is a flame sword.
Yeah, I don't think J-Man saw any of Cantlin shops. We might see some when Poidrac gets over there, because Poidrac still needs to get a shield.
If Poidrac gets over there, if J-Man goes down and wins right now, I could definitely see Poidrac just forfeiting now 2.5 hours into this match. For those trying to catch up, J-Man did 5 separate gold grinds in this particular seed. He first grinded Tablet Cave to get half-plate armor out of Breckenry. He then grinded Tanagal Castle to get full-plate armor out of Breckenry. He then grinded again in Tanagal Castle in order to get magic armor out of Remolder. He then found Cole had only a flame sword and had to grind again out of Tanagal Castle. These are just ghetto grinds, by the way, in order to get the flame sword. And then finally, once he found Mountain Cave, he was able to do a true gold grind in order to get the silver shield.
And yeah, that's just how this seed's been. 3 towns and just flame swords and silver shields, and nothing kind of... It's just kind of like the mid-game got removed from this seed.
Completely.
It feels like
the few mid-game enemies we've seen, like the Knight had Dragon Lord 2 Breath. The Druid Lord is one of the few kind enemies that we saw. And there was a Magiwyvern over on the west coast, but Poidrac saw that or east coast. Poidrac saw it very early, and no one ever returned over in that direction because there weren't any locations there. And so that might have turned out, I don't know if we can put that up on the tracker, the Magiwyvern, to see if it would have been a good mid-game enemy. But Hurtmore only came at level 16, as you can see, because Poidrac still doesn't have it. Erdrick's Sword has been nowhere to be found, but we haven't found Garenham. We haven't found Garen's Grave, which is in the back of Garenham, so that's 8 chests on the overworld that are still missing. So there's no guarantee if J-Man does go into the treasury that he's even going to find Erdrick's Sword, although he doesn't need it. So I guess we should really be focusing on J-Man's dive at this point, because the first few floors have actually gone pretty good. He still has 100 magic points.
Uh-oh. Yeah, Magiwyverns were just fight happy, so put them to sleep and just chop them down with Flame Sword, way better ballad strategy. So, let's see if J-Man goes for the... Nope, J-Man's just gonna go for it.
And apparently I put the commentator's curse on him, because the two enemies that we've already seen him run away from are the Armored Knight and the Star Wyvern. Both of those enemies have sleep. You're on the bottom floor. And J-Man decided to turn around.
Yeah, the scary thing is, I think J-Man does not know that the Armored Knight has sleep, because that was the first one he encountered.
Right.
We kind of got spoiled on that. So, well, a bit late to do the pyramid. So, look at these chests. They contain wings, nothing.
And the odds are it's not here.
Big stick. Okay, so it was here. I think he's breathing a sigh of relief, and that will jump his attack power to 148. So he deals about 12 to 24 to the Dragon Lord. For an average of about 18, so suddenly he now has a few heal mores he can burn.
And welcome to the Raiders from Randomania 2. Where your match was much, much faster than this one has been.
And now J-Man has just learned, in case this scene can get worse, the Armored Knight has the sleep spell.
And since we've already been spoiled by it, let's also spoil the fact that they're 40% of the bottom zone here on Charlock, so it is somewhat likely he will encounter at least one more. Star Wyvern also has sleep, and sure enough is going to get the back attack with J-Man's only 77 agility. Apparently wasn't enough to preempt the Star Wyvern. Fortunately, that one's defense broken.
Yeah, and Poidrac's going to hit 16, and... Okay, so this is pretty kind. Don't even need the stop spell. You have Erdrick's Armor. I guess that might have just been kind of habit by now because we got the armor so late. But one of the benefits of Erdrick's Armor is that you are immune to stop spells, so...
And yeah, Red Dragon is honestly just about the best enemy you could hope for on this tile.
And followed up by about the worst
heavy.
Bet he manages to scoot away and stands before the Dragon Lord. As Poidrac, just getting 16, dies, is declared a fool. And yeah, this should just be a butchering.
Now, if you're in J-Man shoes, again, 2 hours and 23 minutes, 5 gold grinds into here, you still have to be wondering if your opponent could be dunning at any possible moment. It's also 2.5 hours in. He's tired. I wonder, could he make a mistake? Or are we finally going to see the Dragon Lord go down in this one? This has been pretty epic.
Well, here we go. We're on the Dragon Lord 2. He will get the first strike for a low roll of 14. You don't hear that too often. Okay, so he's up to 29. Okay, 46 damage. 46. Ooh, there you go. That's your maximum, taking up to 69. And 17 will make that 86. Taking the attack and countering for 104. Yeah, 104. Is going for Swag Hurt more. I don't know why.
I guess he's not that worried that his opponent is about to dot him. Or maybe he is and trying to shorten the battle.
Well, he's up to 119 now. Gonna hit here for the minimum, well, not minimum, 133. Minimum would be 12, I believe. 156, so next attack will do it. And bonk. 16 is enough. Get out your GGs. J-Man has finally managed to defeat this seed. All he has to do is throw the wings up, land on Breckenay, walk into Tantigel.
And it was a high hit point Dragon Lord with 162 hit points, just to kind of finish things off on this seed. But J-Man is finished in first place with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 6 seconds. Wow.
Yep, taking home the victory, going to go to 1-2. So staying alive, as Poidrac's just now getting through the Swamp Cave. Looks like he's going to try to finish this seed out, although still needs to find the Erdrick's armor. So got to go south from here to find the town of Cantlin.
Well, he's having better luck than last time. I remember the first time he came out onto the second continent, he took 3 steps and got Dragon Lord 2 breaths by a knight and immediately got set home. So at least this time he's able to see that the north end doesn't have anything on it.
Well, yeah, it just has to go south here. We'll find Cantlin. We'll get coordinates. Doesn't actually have the money to buy a large shield because the Golem only gives 5 gold per kill, so as Poidrac was taking those deaths, it whittled down his gold. He's only at 139 gold, so going to be unable to buy a large shield, although I think at this point Poidrac doesn't really care. But gonna get the numbers, probably gonna go save the princess and then come back over here, pick up the armor, and finish out the seed.
But yeah, it's not very often that you have a seed where we were like 2 hours and 15 minutes before anyone had hurt more, and then somewhere around 2:20, I guess, is when Erdrick's sword finally got picked up. So the biggest hitter and the biggest spell came extremely late, which was just heaping insult onto injury in terms of this seed, in terms of what it was throwing at the runners. But it does appear that we have J-Man, who's going to be coming available here for an interview in just a moment. Hello and welcome, J-Man. Congratulations on staying alive here in the tournament and what ended up being a marathon of the seed. How are you feeling?
Tired.
I believe it. Any thoughts on the seed, just in general? Go ahead.
Let me go ahead and thank the trackers and all you guys for getting you guys this up early in the morning for this long of a slog.
Yeah.
Well, for us on the East Coast, it's not that early, but yeah, I imagine for you two, I believe you're both on the West Coast, so this is early for you.
No, actually, if I remember correctly, Poidrac's in the UK, actually. That's why we had to kind of do this weird balance, so it's kind of his late afternoon.
Okay, so Poidrac going to try to count these coordinates.
Yeah, that's not
And
going to work out.
Yeah, that's something I kind of want to ask you because,
You were
well, first off,
grinding
we're
the
gonna-
blue dragon. You were right there and chose not to rescue the princess. Yeah, what was going through your head then?
Well, I didn't know where the tile was, and I was trying to, after 2.5 hours, I was going to save 5 seconds at the end.
So you were trying to risk that you didn't need the princess, and that turns out you... Were you trying to actually count the coordinates and then realized it wasn't going to work out? Because
Yeah, basically, I had a count all the way up to Sharlock.
And you could see that you just needed to still go further to the east, and so it was going to be on the second continent, as it turned out.
Exactly.
I see. Well, if it had been right there, then that would have been quite an accomplished count, because, going basically a whole kind of like big C circle around the map, that was a tough one to count out.
Yeah, if I'm doing like the positive negative, I was about negative 50 on the east-west side. And I needed to be, I think, positive 13.
Okay, well, in the meantime, Poidrac has went ahead and thrown in the towel, has put in the forfeit. It said it's just going to take way too long to finish, so... And has nicknamed that particular desert the Desert of Despair. Right as you got out...
absolutely get that.
Right as you got out of Zone 1, you just... Hello, here, have all the Sharlock monsters, and you can't get a shield because the only one's silver, and you can't get a weapon because it goes from...
Bamboo pole to flame sword.
Yeah, that was a crazy set of shops that you guys had available. We'll have Poidrac here joining us here in just a moment. But J-Man, you actually did 5 separate gold grinds in this one. At some point in the middle, you were carrying around about 10,000 gold, and then even brought it up to 12,000 gold. What was going through your mind? Had you seen or remembered what was in the Remolder shop, or what was going in your head right around then?
Well, I was hoping to be able to just get one thing, and that's what I think the Remolder shop, I got the magic armor, and then obviously then I got the coal and didn't find anything, but the shop had the flame sword, so then I had to go rewrite.
Yeah. We couldn't remember, I think at the time, if you'd already seen the Silver Shield in Remolder, and we're curious why you didn't grind to the 14.8 at that point. But yeah, we're joined by Poidrac now as well. Who put in the valiant effort, but this seed was just really rough on both of the runners.
My only question right now is, how many times did I die to Red Dragons on the Desert of Despair? Or just after it?
Yeah. We couldn't remember. Our tracker shows that you had 30 deaths overall, but I'm not sure how many of them were specifically to the Red Dragons. J-Man was definitely feeling that as well. We're joined by to get money over to those towns to try to buy some equipment. Who put in the valiant effort.
Yeah, I only really wanted that flame sword because strength was actually looking good in this seed. But yeah, just getting anywhere seemed a pain, and by the time J-Man had finished, it was just going to take me too long because I hadn't found a sword, Eldritch sword or armor. That, for all I know, it could have been in Sharlock for this sword, and yeah, that wasn't happening anytime soon.
Yeah, it did turn out that Eldritch Sword was in the Sharlock treasury, but yeah, neither of you managed to find Garenham and Garen's tomb. Looking at a map afterwards, it looks like that was actually somewhere south of Cole, in a direction that neither of you went, but fortunately the sword wasn't there. Although, with the stats, it looked like you probably could have won with this, just with the flame sword at that point, J-Man. J-Man was also level 16 at the end, but definitely the sword made it more of a lock.
Yeah, I had good luck running at the end there, so that's why I ended up let's go. I got 50 shot roughly with 6 in the treasury and about 6 left on the overworld.
The worst possible finish on this seed was after going through all that for the 2 hours and 15 minutes that you'd done, getting to the bottom floor of Sharlock, seeing your first armored knight, and having him cast the spell Sleep.
I know, right?
Armored knights were they only in Sharlock?
As far as I
saw them, yeah.
Yeah, only in Sharlock, yeah.
And only on the bottom floor.
They were 40% on the bottom floor, actually. 2 out of 5.
Yeah. Concerning in being able to win with that flame sword, definitely, because I think at level 16 I've got 101 strength. That's ridiculously high. So yeah, my HP was lacking. Yes, I do go with a agility build, but 99 isn't that bad. I probably could have defeated the Dragon Lord at these stats. It's just I needed to get there and
Yeah, it would have been close. By my count, I had roughly 12 attacks and 12 heal mores. So hopefully, if I get that double at the end and maybe a double at the start, then that's what I was going after with the flame sword. But it was way easier with the Erdrick sword.
Yeah, at the end, the way these stats turned out, the strength agility versus strength hit points wasn't too big of a deal. 77 versus 83 agility and 107 versus 99 hit points. The 107 hit points really isn't going to give you much of a chance of any doubles. And so you would both be pretty much Dragon Lord eligible at the same time. And yeah, it was actually 106 strength at level 16. So an attack power of 136 you already had with the Flame Sword Poidrac.
that's easily enough to just take on. But I would have still needed to actually. I had the way in. It's just that armor was eluding me. I went to the golem in Hawk's Nest just for potluck basically, and it didn't turn out to be there. So I had to go and find the coordinates, and that I had a thing that was behind the a marsh cave, but me getting there and back was proving to be a problem. That's really the story of my seed. I just couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, we were all stuck on that first big desert for probably, hour 30?
Yeah, until you managed to gear up, and then once that happened, J-Man was able to start just taking out Axe Knight, going back to heal, and start building up the experience, because Poidrac, I think, early on had taken about around an 800 experience. Well, maybe not that much, but maybe like 500, 600 experience lead. But once J-Man hit the grind, he managed to overtake the experience and never looked back.
Yeah, Poidrac had the early experience lead because Poidrac managed to make the hero walk to Cole earlier with the money in hand to buy the Flame Sword. J-Man, I think, was like 20 minutes behind in terms of actually getting the Flame Sword, so...
Yeah, being able to grind those Axe Knights outside of Cole really helped.
And getting an early lead isn't good if you don't follow up on it, which I didn't. So, well done for catching up and well done for the win, J-Man.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the game. And yeah, that was a definite grind.
The only one request I have is next time, can I have an easier seed? That's 2 in a row where I've had a really rough, windy path.
Indeed. Yeah, I've seen a lot of matches in this tournament, but I've seen a few really rough maps like this one where basically you kind of had to walk effectively like all the way around the map. Like you started near the east end, you had to go all the way to the west and then to the north and then back to the east to get to the swamp, to get to the final continent, which ended up being where you get the coordinates, and you'd have to go back there to get the armor. So there's just a whole lot of walking, and when you have a whole lot of walking on a seed with red dragons and axe knights everywhere, yikes.
Yeah, that desert, whatever that is. See, I'm still waking up this morning. When that desert, the problem was we couldn't avoid it to get out of the area, and that was what was just killing us and sending us back home.
Yeah, I think once you managed to hit level 9 stops, all that helped out a lot, but until then it was just... Yeah, usually you're kind of happy to see that stop spell and then a weak attack on the Red Dragon, because you're thinking, oh hey, all I need to do is get armor and these things become a whole lot easier, and then it takes 2 hours to get the armor, and you're just like, yeah.
At least the Red Dragons are 50 or 75% stop spell themselves, right?
Yes. And I believe only a 5 out of 16 chance to resist your stop spell, so once you got the stop spell, you could do that, and they'd waste 3/4 of their turns. So
And early on, I think right after I got Soft Spell, at least there's a couple times where I could Stop Spell and then get at least like 4 or 5 run attempt.
well, at that point, with the Flame Sword, you could probably Stop Spell and then just whittle it down, but as it turns out, you were able to figure out the way to get ahead. You're 1 and 2 now, so you're still clinging on to hope for the playoffs.
The From Hell's Heart, I stab at the portion of the bracket.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see who draws who, because even down at 1 and 2, I'm seeing some pretty noble names. I'm seeing Ouija Wee, I'm seeing Brysolf, I'm seeing Tilo Tilo, Lord of the Synth. They're just big names up and down.
Oh, we talked about it through a bit of the tournament. It's a deep field. Like anyone in kind of the top half of just kind of like ratings coming in has chances to win in most of the races, I feel like. So it'll still be a tough road ahead of it, J-Man, but at least you're still alive to take a good shot at it.
Yep, that's the hope. Just give yourself a puncher's chance and see what comes up with the RNG.
Well, good luck to you on both of your next races, as I believe it's time to wrap it up because we still have a lot more Dragon Warrior to run. I think our tracker, Fury SK, actually had to run off already because he has a race here in about 20 minutes.
About 15 minutes, and it's going to be right here on Randomania versus Veralis. So for people looking for more Dragon Warrior Randomizer to watch, you can stick around. That one's starting up in just about 15 minutes.
See, we were just looking out and trying to help you guys pad so you didn't have so much downtime on the channel.
Oh, yeah. It worked out great. Thanks.
Just enough time for the streamers to go get a drink and go freshen up and get ready for the next run.
Yeah, and we'll just hand it off to the next team when there's so. Yeah, thank you to Fury SK as he prepares for his race coming up in about 15 minutes. He was on tracking Bobski on the restream, and my buddy over here, Lorgon, helping me commentate. Any last words, anybody?
Once again, thanks to everybody for sticking through it, and I think it's the start of a long, full day of racing for everyone.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching a lot of the rest.
Nothing from me except have a good day and enjoy all the races going on.
Yeah, thanks for giving us a show. And yeah, I guess with that, we...
Well, let me go ahead and go over what's...
Oh, yeah, let me go ahead and... race tonight.
Yeah, let me go ahead and go over what's still remaining. Like I said, about 15 minutes from now, Veralis and Fury SK are going to be going at it. Off the Randomania channels is going to be Ichben Maya versus Algebra. You can still go to the Speedruns Live website to pull up their streams in case you want to see that. At 5 o'clock, Archfield Monk and Ryguy are going to race each other. That's a 2-0 match. 2-0 match. Blah. That's all I'll say. But yeah, so 5 o'clock, 2-0 match between Archfield and Ryguy. Mr. Holmes and Angel FM are going to be facing each other on Randomania 2 at 8 o'clock. That's also another 2-0 match. And then the last match of the night scheduled to start is Zarnax 42 and Monster Slime, which is going to be a 1-1 match. That will be on Randomania 3. And then at the conclusion of the races tonight, we will have the draw for the 4th week. So still plenty more Dragon Warrior left, and hopefully a bunch more excitement.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, hopefully hopefully we'll see some shorter races, especially for those last couple, because I will want to check out what the new matchups are going to be tonight before I go to bed.
And for that, well, may your moves be excellent and your seeds be maybe a bit more classy in this. We are going to go ahead and hand it off to the next race, which is Relish versus Fury SK. So, for more Dragon Warrior, just stick around.